Arizona State University is demanding answers after 9 Chinese students were blocked from returning to school. The Arizona Republic takes a closer look at the situation. We know the undergraduate students were traveling back to the U.S. for their fall semester. They were detained at Los Angeles International Airport and eventually forced to fly back to China. Rachel Leingang wrote the article. She's a higher education reporter at the Arizona Republic, and she joins us now. So, Rachel, what exactly happened, and why weren't the students allowed back into the U.S.?
It's not clear what happened at this point. We're not able to get hardly any answers from Customs and Border Patrol about why exactly the students were not allowed back into the U.S. We know that ASU has said there were no issues that they know of. They were deemed, academically admissible to the university. In fact, when they were sent back home, they're still taking online classes with ASU. So right now, everybody's really trying to find answers. As of yesterday, when I followed up again with Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection, they were not going to comment any further than they already have. So it seems like it'll still be a little bit of time until we understand fully why the students were not allowed back into the country.
So what is the government saying?
They're saying that there are more than 60 different reasons that are different fields that people coming into the U.S. have to meet in order to be admissible for entry, and that the Chinese students were deemed admissible. But they're not saying which category exactly they weren't admissible for, or if there were any issues with visas or something they found during searches that would have made them have to return to China. None of that is clear, but there are, like I said, more than 60 different fields that they have to meet. So one of those fields or more were not met, according to Customs officials.
You may have been aware, you probably are aware, Rachel, of the recent reporting on an incoming freshman student at Harvard University being detained in Boston and having to return back to Lebanon after his visa was revoked. Is this a similar situation or not at all?
So from ASU President Michael Crow's perspective, it is a similar situation. I think the thing that he's drawing a line between the two is there seemed to be an electronic search of electronic devices for the Palestinian student at Harvard and also for these Chinese students. So something found during that electronic search possibly led to them being inadmissible. In the Palestinian student's case, it was posts that other people had made that were deemed like hostile to the United States. Not posts that the student himself had made. In this case, it's not clear what exactly was found during an electronic search, but that's something that the ASU's president is trying to get answers on, basically asking federal officials, if you are searching the electronics of students who come in, what exactly are you searching? Can we get some answers to make sure that people's rights are being protected? But so far, there have been no answers.
All right, and you mentioned that the university says that they are admissible under their visa. What else have you heard from the university?
The university is basically, they have no information on this, and it sounds like there's some frustration with wanting to understand what exactly led to their students not being allowed to a place they've already been before, since they're coming back as returning students. I think there's also a lot of concern among folks in the higher ed community that if it becomes more difficult for international students to come to the U.S., that means less of them could come. And I know universities these days are pretty reliant on international students, both because they pay out-of-state tuition rates, which are a little higher, and also because students expect a well-rounded experience, and that includes students from other countries. They routinely are cited as, a great addition to the campus atmosphere because they add more cultural dimensions. Students can interface with people from different countries, which is increasingly expected in the workplace. So I think that there are concerns more broadly than just this incident and the incident of the Palestinian student about international students in the U.S. at this moment.
Right, but until we understand from the government exactly what they flagged and what may have been a problem, because right now it appears we don't really know what that is, right? So if something comes up that is deemed as a legitimate reason as to why these students were turned away, that sort of doesn't really fit into the argument of, well, we want more diversity in our universities because it's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that at this point, people really just want answers, because if it was a legitimate concern, I think that should be addressed publicly. But then if it were something smaller or more akin to what happened with the Palestinian student, I think there's a public interest in understanding that as well, so that students can make more informed decisions on whether or how they want to come to the United States.
All right, Rachel Leingang, keep us up to date. Thank you very much.
Thank you.